1977. That was when they had that agreement. They had the agreement. Then Cameroon went ahead with their own construction. That is when they constructed the Lagdo Dam, which took them 5 years between 1977 to 1982. They were able to conclude and construct their own dam. That's Lagdo Dam. And we, Nigeria, the giant of Africa, up till date, from 1977 up till date, we are yet to finish that project. Obasanjo was military head of state then. He was unable to do it. His successors up until now that we are here with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are yet to have that. At some point, former President Goodluck Jonathan revisited it, but when he saw the cost implication, this cost is something else. I don't think he will be able to be, because it's gonna cost a huge sum of money to really have that dam constructed. So it is very, very late for government, but better late than never. They need to start to do something about it, and let's see how it's going to help reduce the impact of flooding in Nigeria, because unless and until we have that, we will continue to have these cases. And another thing is that we could also construct at state level, they could also construct dams, mini dams that can accommodate the water without necessarily waiting for the Senhausa Dam to be constructed. You could do some mini dams to take care of that at state level. So it's really a responsibility of the federal and also the state and also we themselves, as citizens, we also have role to play in terms of what do you call it, dumping of refuse on waterways, building our houses on waterways. You will see that this place is kind of not suitable for building, but we want to build there because we feel it's a land. Now let's find our way around it. Is there no way we can do so? A lot of
when it comes to this issue of flooding, you have to realize that flooding is caused when the free flow of water is obstructed. That's what causes flooding. So what exactly causes the obstruction of the free flow of water? We have dirt. Dirt is our main issue. We do not know how to dispose of dirt. Indiscriminate
dumping of refuse.
We need to be able to have a very, very seamless system. Look at Lagos. I can't remember. It's not Ikeja now. It's Bega. It's Bega. When you're driving into Lagos, you will see heaps and heaps, huge heaps of dirt. Just, I think it's on the right when you're getting to Bega, when you're coming into Lagos from Lagos Ibadan Expressway, you will see heaps. I can't remember the name it's called, the engineering term.
I think Babajide Sanwo-Olu is trying to do something with regard to that. I saw this, was it last night, a headline on the news that they want to start sealing houses that doesn't have waste bin. That every house should have their own waste bin so that you dump your refuse there.
After the environmental, the trucks come to take that dirt, where are they dumping it? Are they burning it to the ground? Where exactly are they disposing of it? That's the question now. So you collect all the dirt in Lagos State, for example. Where are you going to dump it? Where are you going to dump it? So we need to have a very, very holistic, seamless system, especially when it comes to recycling. We hardly recycle except those Babambola or something, those guys that pick up your some things in your dirt, maybe the plastic in your dirt. They're the only ones that do that,
or the metal part of it.
So you begin to wonder, where does recycling in other countries? What you see is there's a bin for recyclables, and then there's a bin for perishables, things that you have no business handling anymore. So do we have that kind of system?
And it's a huge industry
in Nigeria. It's a huge way to generate revenue, where you have things that can be recycled, reprocessed into something else. The government takes it, reprocesses it, and uses it for something and sells it back. Your waste, you're selling it back tonight. Look at me putting on my thinking cap now. For you should be paying me for this. But really though, we need to start paying attention. It's not just policies, it's not just economic policies and all that matter. This is an issue that really, really matters. We talk about low electricity generation. Can you not build those dams and harness the power there? Harness the power. We have excess water. Before the rains came last year, we were having issues of no water. So because of no water, we're having low generation of electricity. The dams are not producing as they should. Now the water has come, and we are still complaining about flooding. So it's we need to pick a struggle. At this point, we need to pick a struggle. It's either there's not enough water to generate electricity, or there's too much water. So we need to pick a struggle. So, it can't be either.
So please, our listener, make sure you play your own role in terms of having to control or mitigate flooding.
Good morning, Mr. Rufai.
Yeah, Abuja, it's time for us to link up with Mr. Rufai, who said it's 7:30 already. I think he's already live with us. Hello, good morning.
I can hear you.
Mr. Rufai, good morning to you. We're talking a little bit about Nnamdi Kanu this morning. The Iwanyanwu is begging, that's the leader of the Ohaneze Ndigbo, the President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, is begging the president to release, he's appealing to the federal government to have Mazi Nnamdi Kanu released, saying his continuous detention is a deliberate attempt by some elements to destroy the economy of the Southeast. I don't know if he's pushing it a bit by saying that, but what exactly is your take on this?
You see, I think we've gone around this case for a while, and we've seen how all of this have gone. What brought us here in the first place? Agitations of marginalization in the Southeast. Are they valid? Yes, they are valid. Because every region in this country have cried marginalization at any point in time. The way at which they went about this, was the killings and all that necessary? No. Thirdly, the question is, how can we bring peace back to this Southeast? That's the bone of contention with this sit and all of that. We have all resolved, and I say we have all resolved because even if you look at the last administration, that yes, let's try as much as possible to look at the legal solution, but that might not work because when you look at the legal solution in the interest of the country, the appeal court had ruled for Nnamdi Kanu to be released, and really the government had gone back to court. So we are still doing our legal quandary, but also there's also a political solution. And as I said, we have all agreed that political solution is the way forward. Can we open up the channel for political solution? And if we open up the channel for political, what are the things we are going to say? Is the county going to assure that it will not continue with some actions that are inimical to the growth of area? How can those assurances be guaranteed? Because also the argument people are also making is hitherto we all saw the role Nnamdi Kanu played with incitement.
Yeah.
Just like the role Simon Ekpa is wrong. Alright?
Yeah.
Which is wrong. And let's call it spade a spade. So will he be willing to give those ironclad assurances? Those are the questions. And will the government also be willing to give a political solution, which a lot of people say, yes, if you probably release him, then we'll be well on our way to get a political solution. So it's about how both parties can meet halfway. But also, the Igbo leaders should also be able to talk a lot to Nnamdi Kanu in a case where the political solution is reached.
Okay.
There are many ways you can ventilate your points. Because you see, when you start chaos, you only know the beginning, but you don't know the ending. So now, we have started the chaos in Nigeria. We remember when it started. Today, as we speak, the Southeast is a war zone. Killings, fightings, and all sorts. Is this what we want for our country?
Certainly not.
Not what we want for our country. And that's why all these state actors should be careful, and government too should not embolden some of them in terms of giving them all sorts of contracts and things like that. So we should all be careful. We want a great nation. Every party in this country has been hurt. We need political solutions to be able to move forward. But those actors too, to remember that there are better ways to air grievances. And let's give chance to build this country. That's just all I'm going to say.
All right. Mr. Rafai, when it comes to the sit at home, right, what do you think the governors can do? This is just a side note, though. What do you think the governors can do? Because we saw a couple of unsuccessful attempts by some of the new governors in ending the sit-at-home order. So what exactly do you think can be done to actually stop that? Because the Igbos, some Igbos in the southeast have already resigned to that particular order, and it's an order from non-state actors. So what exactly do you think the governors can do to ensure that people can come out on Mondays and work?
At first, they must advocate like they've been advocating. Secondly, we must have a complete solution to this Nnamdi Kanu debacle. Because if Nnamdi Kanu is out of prison and we now still see people doing stuff, then they will have lost their political arms to do the sit-at-home, because the question of when Nnamdi Kanu is out of prison, so why are you now doing sit-at-home? That means you just want to cause chaos. So they should keep pushing for a political solution. And I trust President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do the needful as regards this Nnamdi Kanu debacle. Let peace reign back in the southeast, because we need peace across every region of this country.
All right, moving on this morning, there is another headline on the Vanguard newspaper that says federal government issues flood alert, says 14 states may record heavy rainfall. This is something that is becoming a normal occurrence in Nigeria, issue of flooding. Yes, we know that flooding is a natural disaster or natural phenomenon, but exacerbated by human activities. Nigeria as a country. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, we are a country for now. I should use the word reactive instead of being proactive. What would you say concerning this issue of flooding? Because government keep giving warning signs, because now we have like 14 states and 31 communities that may witness heavy rainfall that could lead to flooding from July 4th to July 8th, based on the information we have. What do you think the government should do to take care of this situation once and for all?
The government knows what to do. The government should invest heavily in city planning, channelization of flood water, mapping up areas inundated by flooding, ensuring you have proper drainage ways, ensuring you have proper channel ways, ensuring that you inundate people with information so that those that are living across floodplain can leave. Government officials should stop being corrupt and selling land on floodplains to people or approving land buildings of floodplain to people because of the money they are going to get. Ensuring that we on our society and biodiversity plant more trees, because trees too are also buffers, and stop removing our forest cover. So there are potpourri of measures. But the question is, it's not just to raise a lot, it's to do. That's where we have found one. And it's very sad, because the Romans, I keep telling people that the Roman Empire was unified between 27 BC and 319 AD. The Romans had solutions to flooding problem. The Romans channeled water properly. In fact,
Hello,
Mr. Rafai.
why can't we? Yeah, I can hear. Can you hear me?
Yes, okay, hear you. Go ahead, please.
So why can't we do the same Nigeria? Those are the questions we ask ourselves, because we have a cultural problem of incompetence. And I think with all of this, let us face the cultural problem of incompetence and stop hoping that God will help us for our incompetence. Never explain with malice what you can explain with. Never ascribe to malice what you can explain with incompetence. Pure and simple.
All right, still on this topic, last year we had so much issue of flooding as a result of release of excess water from Cameroon, from Lagdo Dam. And going back to history, 1977, there was this agreement that Nigeria will build the Sinhausa Dam while Cameroon will build Lagdo Dam. 5 years later, that was 1982, Cameroon completed the construction of Lagdo Dam. Down the lane, up till this moment as we speak, Nigeria is yet to complete the Sinhausa Dam. what would you say on the part of the government in terms of neglect or their inability to fulfill their promise on the Destin Hausa Dam, considering the fact that a lot of successive government have come to pass, military and also civilian government, yet we are still where we were?
It goes back to what I just talked about just now. Culture will eat strategy for breakfast. So we have a culture of incompetence. So despite the agreements, we don't follow the agreements. It's as simple as that. So what do we need to fix it? Go build the part of the dam, raise money, do the project, restore society. That's not as simple as that. Things are not hard things to do. But we just have that culture of incompetence. Simple.
All right, Mr. Rufai, we have this headline here talking about exporting 23 billion naira electricity. Nigeria exports 23 billion. Hello?
I didn't hear what you said. Say that again, please.
I said Nigeria exports 23 billion naira electricity, and local consumers are lamenting outage. Looking at the figures, it was observed that a total value of exported electricity from Nigeria, that was in 2022, was about $50.98 million, which is about 23.5 billion naira. At the official exchange rate as of last year, that is 461 naira to a dollar. That was as of last year. But the international customers remitted only $32.69 million back to Nigeria, something that was worth $50.98 million. They remitted $32.69 million, which is giving us a shortfall of about $18.29 million. So special customers also did not remit their own money as well in the same period, according to the figures that were obtained from the power sector regulator. Looking at the fact that we have issues with electricity generation, right? Power generation. What exactly do you think about this exportation of electricity?
No, you have international agreements for existing as gas export of electricity. Don't forget, it's willing seller, willing buyer. So for the fact that you don't meet enough home demand does not mean that your heater to contract you will not meet it. It's as pure and simple as that. But the part I have a problem with is if you can sell, then you should be able to get your revenue in. So why are we not getting our revenue? Is it because of inefficiency? Is it because of a lot of bottlenecks? What can we do to be able to get our revenue? I think that should be the bone of contention, and that should be the real subject matter here. Because you cannot sell and not get your money appropriately, and that's not doing business at all. That's a big faux pas, to my mind.
So World Bank is giving us a report about the number of people that are not connected to the national electricity grid at about 90 million Nigerians out of 220 million Nigerians. It's about the highest in the world. Looking at the population of China, they've got about 1.5 billion people. They have about 68 million Chinese persons who are not connected to the electricity. Now compare that to a country where our population is about 200 million, and we're having 90 million people that are not electrified. So how exactly can we bridge that gap? Because this issue of electricity is one that has lingered for far too long. It's a subject we shouldn't even be talking about right now. This is 2023. We shouldn't even bring it up. We had Siemens deal and it has gone cold. So what exactly can we do? What exactly can the president do in this particular situation?
Okay, so another thing you need to understand is that for buffers, for those who are not connected to the grid, there's been different rural electrification schemes that they've been using solar and the light to be able to provide power in those communities. But that's really inadequate. So the question is, how can we extend the size of the grid? And that's why when we look at it, we should be able to build a better grid. And I'm happy you talked about the Siemens deal, because part of the thing the Siemens deal was supposed to do was pretty much to bolster the grid and ensure the grid can collect a lot and improve on the capacity of the grid to be able to do a lot more. But for now, as again, we have a culture of incompetence, we couldn't get that sorted out. We couldn't ensure that we get that deal up and working. And there's a problem on ground. All the timelines we had for the Siemens deal, all the timelines have been broken. So nothing has been done. So the question is, what's the way forward? The way forward is proper investment in the grid. So the new incoming government will to build a grid that can take the power. Do you even know that most of the power supply to the grid. Because of the capacity of the grid, the grid cannot even take it. So most of our installed capacity power, when we load it up on the grid, sometimes the grid will just shut it out because of the capacity. So we need to rework the grid and look at the possibility of bolstering the grid, then get more people on, and also bolster the rural electrification scheme. Because even in the most developed economies, and I'm happy to talk about China, that over 58 million people are not even on the grid. Not everybody will be on the grid, but how can we make a sizable part of the industrial hub of any nation on the grid? And are they even getting enough power? Largely not, because when you look at it, most companies now are now resorting to their own alternative power mix, which is very sad. And because the grid cannot put, and we have enough resources to be able to provide. Take for example, we have coal. I don't know why we can't build 2, 3, 4 coal power plants. Those power plants are cheap to build in South Africa. With how big South Africa economy is, most of their power comes from coal. And we have coal in Enugu. I don't know why we can't mine coal and build coal power plants. So we need to be able to look at perspective and see how we can post our trade. I think those are the solutions.
All right, moving on this morning on the Vanguard newspaper, we also have this headline: fuel hike, order anti-poor policies, a declaration of war on the workers and masses, according to NLC. And I just want to go into, let me just take a dive into it. The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC has said the recent hike in pump price of premium motor spirit, PMS, commonly known as petrol, and other perceived anti-poor policies were weapons of war against Nigerian workers and masses. According to the NLC, improvising workers and pushing millions more into hellish living doesn't in any way approximate sound economic management. What would you say concerning this comment by NLC Chairman Joe Ajero?
Okay, let's go straight to it. Yes, the declaration of poverty on the masses, it's painful, and that's why we keep calling on the government to have a palliative. And that's why the government should also know that let us stop all this idea of not really thinking of the people before we make some policy decisions. Politics can ruin lives. And that's why I'm saying that 8-week gap, to be able to make a decision on what will be the bulk of the palliative is not good enough. You should have even thought of the palliative with subsidy, because the pain and the heart is there. But kudos to governors like Governor of Borno State that I think bought big bosses to be able to give pushing effect. But we need to do more. I mean, look at it. Most of the streets are empty. Productivity has dwindled a great deal. Suffering is the other. People are crying. People are losing their jobs. They are losing their life. The streets are empty. People are trekking. It's like a mass exodus in trekking again. Let's not do this to ourselves. Let's not be high-handed. Government is there to be able to help the people and make their life better. When government starts to ruin the life of people, it becomes problematic. And these policies are hurting. They are ruining the lives of the people. So I support Joe Ajero on the things he has said. It's a declaration of war on the workers, the poor workers. You are increasing prices of things, but you are not increasing minimum wage. Removing everything that putting the effects of pain on it, you are not increasing minimum wage. The minimum wage is nothing to write them about in the first place. Nigerian minimum wage in the 80s of 125 naira, that's $125. Nigeria earn less than that now, less than $100 the minimum wage. How much is 30,000 naira? Even most states cannot even pay 30,000 naira. How much is 30,000 naira in dollars? It's less than $100. So if you were to sample the minimum wage of Nigeria in the 80s, it's even bigger than what we have today. Based on adjusted for dollar parity, we can't live our lives this way. We can't continue to create hardship. A lot of people are having hard time. Look, I'm just passing by now and I'm seeing somebody buying fuel in jerry can and pouring in the car in the middle of the road. Guess what? The bus stopped in the middle of the road. So he had bought about 3 or 4 liters in jerry can. So he's just pouring it in the middle of the road. Eyebrow Lagos, Ikoyi. Just imagine.
All right, talking about buying fuel. Talking about buying fuel, now let's take a look at this issue of fuel. The hope of fresh petrol importation into the country may have been dashed as findings reveal that oil marketers who have been licensed to import fuel are currently having difficulties accessing forex. Yes, NNPC.
No, but I told you that last 2 weeks now.
But the issue there is that
No, why are you just? Well, I'm sorry. Why are you just reading that your surprise paper? Didn't I tell you this last 2 weeks when I analyzed it?
yeah, you said so.
So is it because paper is writing it now?
Why I'm bringing this one now is because a couple of days ago we saw on the news that fuel price per liter might rise up to 700 naira per liter, but NNPC came out to debunk that, and oil marketers rather came out to say no, that's not the situation. But now that they are finding it difficult to access forex, automatically the cost of accessing forex and bringing in fuel is going to increase. So also the landing cost is going to increase. We should also expect a commensurate increase in terms of the price of fuel. Yeah.
Olga?
Yes, go ahead.
All of these things, I told you, there's no how you can exaggerate yourself. 2 weeks ago, didn't I tell?
No, I'm just saying.
I told you it was going to happen.
Okay.
Wait, you don't argue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Calm down.
Yes.
I told you 2 weeks ago, and I analyzed it for you was going to happen. What did I tell you then? I told you expressly that you see, getting forex will be a big problem. Didn't I tell you?
You said
2
so.
weeks ago. But why you've liberalized the market, and the rate at which most of these marketers sold are not up to the new forex rate you are seeing. And the forex is not even available in the first place on the market. And didn't I also tell you that what the CBN is even doing is managed float? Hope you know CBN is even pumping money to the forex market. That's why it's still maintaining 780, 790, 760 sometimes. If CBN offer a free float, that market will hit up to 800, 900 to the dollar. If CBN allows for a free float, this you are seeing at 750, 760, 770, 780. It's a managed float. So CBN is still using part of our money to defend the currency. So the so-called float is a pauper. There's nothing happening. Because if you are saying a free float, it's a total float. What you are doing is a managed float. And they will give you terminologies like a price discovery. We have been discovering price for over 2. Let's wait for the discovery. And when they clear the backlog of over $2 billion, the market will stabilize. We are waiting. But you are seeing what is happening. So where you want the marketers to get it from? Another thing is that to get the correct, didn't I tell you this 2 weeks ago that Nigeria doesn't print dollar? We forget that in a hurry.
Of course we don't.
You know, we have dollarized our economy so much that we forget that we don't print dollar. And I told you there's going to be problems. So see, please, if I give you empirical analysis, listen to mine. Don't listen to somebody that is trying to defend his job by nullifying it. Didn't the NNPC lie to you when President subsidy is gone? Didn't the same NNPC lie to you that it's the marketers that are increasing price, that they have not increased price? Didn't that same NNPC increase the price the next day?
They did. Less than 48 hours after Tinubu's declaration.
That same NNPC that said we should go and be attacking marketers every week, didn't they lie to you a day and the next day they change and they said they've increased the band? If it was a managed float, if it was a managed market, should NNPC be even be fixing the band again? So who do you want to believe? Is it not the same NNPC that lies to you every time there's fuel scarcity, that we have enough in our barrel? And fuel scarcity persists for so many months. So why do we deceive ourselves? I gave you empirical analysis, you are not taking it. It will happen. We don't just analyze. That's why BOP is unique. We don't just analyze things. These are the things I foresaw that is going to happen. Because let me now even tell you another problem the marketers have not told you about. Even when the dollar is available, where is the money to buy it?
That's another case.
Do you know that in the space of 24 to 48 hours after President Tinubu announced subsidy is gone, do you know that most tank farms were shut down? I'm not sure they reported this in the newspaper to you. Do you know that people that will normally lift a tanker for 7 million paid as much as 20 million to lift the tanker?
Wow.
Do you know the shortfall of about 14 million naira? Nobody has been able to account for it for the market house today. In the space of subsidy is gone that was announced.
We're actually in for a long ride.
My brother, we deceive ourselves so much in this country.
Yeah.
That's why we don't move forward. So when I said it 2 weeks ago, we are beginning to see. And let me also tell you why prices will rise, might likely rise. Do you know that as we speak today, OPEC is already cutting its quotas?
Yeah.
Do you know Saudi has cut quota by about 1 million barrel per day production? And once OPEC starts to cut quotas, there's going to be a price hike. I mean, these are the things we keep saying. But you see, the problem in Nigeria, people don't like the truth, they like lies. And a country where people don't sit down and listen to the truth, we don't grow. My brother, please, I have no qualms with you. It's not about you. But it's about us understanding the things on ground.
Yeah, I do. I understand as well.
It's about understanding the things on ground.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr.
If we want to talk, NMP to tell us how much we are consuming, how much petrol we are consuming per day in this country. You need to watch my interview with Mr. Milik that I asked him, could he answer the question? Righteousness exalts the nation. God bless Nigeria. God bless Abuja. God bless you guys.
Thank you very
so
much,
Mr. Rufai. Have yourself a wonderful day. All right. You just heard the voice of Mr. Rufai Oseni giving it to us hot this morning.
This is quite hot. But really, that is what the marketers came out to say, that there is no increase in price. But if you now just suppose based on his analysis and what they say,
and the current realities that we're seeing, and then
he's not far from the truth.
The truth, and then he made a point talking about how we should look at someone's antecedents. Looking at the NNPC, they've come out and they've told us a couple of lies, or they've told us something, right? And then the next day, what they said is turning out to be a lie. So he's talking about trusting and believing the truth when you hear it, and I think that's something that we should actually look out for ourselves. Do a little bit of research, see how the oil sector, what exactly is going on, how the forex affects the oil sector. When there's a change in forex, when the price when the price goes up, we should be making some money in Nigeria. But it seems as though on both ways, whether dollar goes up or goes down, we are always on the losing end here in Nigeria, especially in the oil sector. So you should actually go ahead and read a little about it, find out how it affects us as Nigerians and how it affects you in your everyday life.
Today we got so engrossed and we couldn't even open the phone lines for you to call in and have your say. Better still, we still have more programs that will come through. Keep your dial locked on 96.1 FM. You gotta hear more of quite interesting programming.
All right, coming up next is Ibo Amaka. That's on the 8 o'clock hour. Make sure you keep it locked right here. But before that, we pay some bills and then Ibo Amaka kicks off. Good morning. Have yourselves a wonderful Thursday.